In this video, we are going to be focusing on the hit era of Thomas and Friends. Although it's many flaws, I do have a lot of memories of this era as a child. But as I grew up, I now see the flaws this era had compared to the previous seasons of Thomas and Friends. For example, if you go from the classic season straight to the hit era seasons of Thomas and Friends, you can definitely see a difference in the episodes. However, every season of the hit era has a few hidden gems of episodes, and more likely than not, they are Gordon-centric episodes. And in this video, I'm going to be trying to explain why almost every time Gordon was a lead character in an episode, it was a good one, and why ultimately he is the best character of the hit era. Firstly, to understand why Gordon was so good in the hit era, we have to talk about all the main characters' personality traits in the Steam team. And we're gonna compare their characters in the hit era to the classic era. All the main characters in the hit era is a lot different from who they were in the classic era. For example, Edward in the classic era used to be an engine who always proves other engines wrong, who never gives up, is very wise, and shares his wisdom to other engines around him. In the hit era, Edward is just a weak engine that is very old and apparently sees newcomers to the island of Sodor as newfangled nonsense.
Newfangled nonsense?
This character change makes most of Edward episodes so bad because it deviates so far from who Edward actually is. Now, let's look at Gordon's character in the hit era compared to the classic era. Gordon in the classic era is an engine that takes pride in being the fastest engine on Sodor and thinks he's a level above all the other engines around him. And in the hit era, Gordon is an engine that takes pride in being the fastest engine on Sodor and thinks he's a level above all the other engines around him. Yeah, it's the same, and it worked. I think the fact that the hit era did not really change who Gordon's character was is a huge factor for how good Gordon was written in the hit era. And his character gives a blueprint for the way the writer should write Gordon. Quite a bit of the episodes look like this. Gordon gets very prideful or puffed up of himself, messes up, and learns from his mistake. Now that's the blueprint, but the blueprint itself is not how you write a good story. Take Thomas for example, and the 3 strikes formula. Most of the episodes that Thomas has as a lead character feels like it was written within 10 minutes. I mean, how many times do you want an engine to learn to be patient? Gordon, however, is different. Most of the Gordon episodes has him learn a new lesson or moral. For example, in Squeak, Rattle and Roll, Gordon learned not to let his thoughts and insecurities get the better of himself. And in It's Good to Be Gordon, Gordon learned that he should not let his self-desires affect other engines. This, in my opinion, is why most of Gordon's episodes in the hit era is so good, because every episode feels different. The kids will learn something different when they watch these Gordon episodes. Now, before I move into the second point, I need to talk about the one change the hit era made to the episodes that really affected the quality of the episodes. In the classic era, all the episodes were always at a fixed runtime of 4 minutes and 30 seconds long. No more, no less. In the hit era, however, the runtime of each episode has a duration of 7 minutes long. This can be a good thing for the episodes if done right, but most of the time it's not. They don't take advantage of the 2.5 minutes extra time. The 4 minute 30 second runtime was perfect because the writers can write a good pacing episode that will not bore the viewers out of watching it, because it has quite a lot of things happening in the 4 minutes and 30 seconds. In the new runtime, most of the episodes just feel dragged out. The story somehow has even less going on than the episodes during the classic era, even though the episodes has more runtime. I'm going to use the Thomas episodes as an example again. I think one of the big factors that made Thomas episodes specifically boring is because of the longer runtime. If the runtime was 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, the Thomas episodes won't be that bad. It surely wouldn't be good, but at least it will still be watchable. Most of the Thomas episodes can be done in like 2 minutes. The Gordon episodes, however, somehow always seems to take advantage of the 7 minute runtime, more so than not. Most of Gordon's stories in the hit era can't be told in only 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's take Squeak, Rattle and Roll for example.
Gordon is big and blue and the fastest engine on all of Sodor.
In this episode, Gordon runs into Diesel in the docks, and Diesel tells Gordon that his kind of engines are gonna be scrapped. And Gordon at first did not believe Diesel, but as time goes by, when Gordon was running with the Express, he could hear his engine squeaking, rattling and rolling, and suddenly he has his doubts. What if Diesel is right? What if he actually gets scrapped by the Fat Controller? And that's an example of letting his own thoughts get the better of him. No one told him that it will be scrapped except for Diesel. No one gave him any warning. The Fat Controller himself never even said that. But Gordon let his thoughts get the better of him. When the Fat Controller gave Gordon a very important task to bring the kids to the docks to catch their ship on time, Gordon was worried because he knew that if he went fast, they would reach the docks on time, but Sir Topham Hatt would hear his squeaking, rattling and rolling and therefore scrap him. That's all in his thoughts. So he decided to just go very slowly so that the Fat Controller can't hear his squeaking, rattling and rolling. And when the Fat Controller sees this, he had to remind Gordon who he was, and Gordon had his character arc moment, you can say. He eventually puffs the fastest he can and makes the most noise he's ever made, but the children made it to the ship on time. And that's the whole episode. Now, the 7-minute runtime was used so well for the episode because on the first 4.5 minutes of the episode, they used the runtime to set the plot of the story and to build up the story all the way to the climax, where Gordon had to choose either to go slowly and disappointing the children and Sir Topham Hatt, or go as fast as he could but potentially make it his last trip. Of course, it is possible to squeeze all of this into 4 minutes and 30 seconds, but I think it would have felt too rushed and too fast paced. And yeah, this is a very good example of the 7-minute runtime being used properly. There are a lot more examples of Gordon episodes that take advantage of the 7-minute runtime. Some examples of this is It's Good to Be Gordon and Respect for Gordon. Unfortunately, besides a few other Gordon episodes, the Hit era took the runtime for granted and just wrote lazy, formulaic stories for the majority of the episodes. Now, we have talked about why the Gordon episodes were so good, but he only averaged like 2 or 3 lead episodes out of 26 episodes in a season. That's not enough episodes. For a character to be great, they have to be consistent in every appearance they have on the show. And in my opinion, Gordon is a really good example of a character being consistent even though he's not the main character. In most of his appearances, his interactions are pretty in line with his characters. Most of the times, Gordon's appearance in the episodes elevates the story of the episode itself, even though he's not the main character. For example, in Edward the Great, Gordon's appearance in this episode made this episode even better. This scene in particular,
Well done, Edward, he called. You are a credit to the railway.
really elevates the story. Now obviously I can't give the whole clip because of copyright issues, but you guys are able to go watch it yourself. For it to be Gordon out of all the other engines that encourages Edward makes the story better, especially since he's the one that did not have faith in Edward in the beginning. There are other examples of this, such as in the episode You Can Do It, Toby, and the episode Percy and the Magic Carpet. Gordon was not the main character in these episodes, but the small roles he played actually mattered and helped elevate the story. With this and the other points I made earlier of why Gordon's episodes were so good, I think that is why Gordon is the best character of the Hit era. Looking back at the Hit era as a whole, even though it had many flaws, at least there is a bright spot in the Hit era, which is the Gordon episodes. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like and subscribe for more videos like this. I have a lot of these kind of videos planned, and I'll see you guys in the next video.